Hello, 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 and good evening. How are you? Here we are right now, once again, for our Moonday Message. Alrighty. Let me just get us a little bit ready to get started. I'll do a little cleansing and clearing for our Monday night. And the first thing I want to do is light my candle. Now, because of what we're talking about tonight, I really want to have a new white candle. Um, but that was a little issue of dropsy and dropped my candle on the floor and kind of broke him. So we have a little bit different candle tonight. So how is everybody? I'm so glad you're here with me right now. Um, I don't know why you're saying this to me because alrighty. So excuse me. Um, so here's what's going on for tonight. We are going to be discussing one of my five favorite goddesses during the month of March. Now, we all know that it is um, Women's Month, right? And so, if we say that all women are goddesses, then all goddesses have got to be women too. We want to talk about that feminine aspect of the goddesses and really think about them as examples for what modern day women can be doing with their lives, with themselves, with whatever, and how we can connect with these goddesses to really enhance and improve our own lives. So, our first goddess that we're going to talk about this month is Yamaya. Now, her feast day in a lot of the parts of the world was either in September or in February and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I think that we can venerate goddesses that we appreciate any time of the year. So these are my five favorite goddesses, and the first one is Yamaya. And let me tell you a little bit about how I first came into contact with her. Now, growing up, I was always fascinated by, what is this? I have this weird teary-eyed nonsense every time I turn this light on and put it on my face. Hang on 1 second. Okay, so darlings, um, what I want to say to you is how we got started with um, this particular goddess, and that is because when I was younger, I was always fascinated by mythology, by goddesses. I love stories, whatever, and I always wanted to hear more stories about goddesses. Now, the first goddesses I came in contact with were Greek and Roman goddesses, because that's what they taught in school, right? Then I became aware of Celtic goddesses, but I didn't really know anything about goddesses, any other pantheons. Even though I was looking into things like Wicca and things, and other, in a sense, goddess-based religions, I never really got in contact with any goddesses of the African diaspora. And that's kind of what I was looking for. Now, I knew about Egyptian goddesses, and as though many people, I'm no hotep or anything, but my belief is that the goddesses of ancient Egypt were Black. And so, even though they tended to get whitewashed um, by most standards, most cultures, that was my belief. So, um, but I still didn't find any other representation. And so I was got a deck of international goddess tarot. Okay. And as you guys know, I've been reading tarot since I was 14. So this was, many, many moons ago that I discovered Yamaya. Because in that international deck of cards, was this lovely card. And you notice I still have these cards to this day, right? Yamaya as a water goddess. She's sitting on a throne of shells. She's got beautiful braids coming down, or locks, maybe, depending on how you look at it. She's surrounded by seashells and natures. And the one thing that I think she probably would not have is if you can see that, a fish in a glass bowl. I don't think she would have that, because I think she would want all of her children to be free, because her name literally means um, woman whose children are fish, or mother whose children are fish, or fish mother. Okay? So I don't think she wants any of her children in like a little bowl and they can sit on her lap. Okay? And that was really my first introduction to Yamaya. And I really resonated with her, being someone who is very, very much a water goddess herself, somebody who's really connected with the ocean. Um, every year we used to spend 3 weeks on the beach. And it really was um, an eye opening for me. Just the on this particular beach that we used to go to, there were such powerful waves. Nobody was allowed to swim alone because we were all kids. So we all had to go in a line in the water and hold on to each other and let the waves wash over us. And sometimes they knocked us down. And you could really understand the undertow and the power of the ocean, because not only does the ocean have waves on the top in the surface that you can see, the thing that is actually creating the waves is the current under the water. It's not like the weather is doing this. Like a windy day may whip up the water even further, but the natural waves have nothing to do with like just the weather. It has to do with the moon and the tides and all that other stuff, right? But you can feel when you go to the ocean its power. It can be gentle with you. It can lap at your toes. And it can also put you in what we used to call the tumbleweed, where you get to kind of like the water's edge and it's lapping over and you're going and and that's kind of the power of the ocean that you can feel on an everyday um, level. So I was very happy to be connected with Yamaya, because I feel many ways that we have so much in common. Yamaya and I have so much in common. Um, she is a mother goddess, and for many, many years, I think this is kind of waning away right now, and I don't know why. But I had such a strong mother energy that people would just naturally call me mother, just out of nowhere. I would go places with people and they would assume that I was my friends. I was my friend's mother, only because we might have had maybe a few years difference between us. But there was such a strong, I carried such a strong mother influence that that's how people saw me. I was automatically mom, mother. I mean, for years, my kids used to play in different bands and whatever. And, I used to transport them around town. And everybody who knew me, they used to call me the rocker mom. Or if they were talking to me, everybody would call me mom, because that's just the energy that I was giving off at the time. Now, Yamaya in particular, um, she is not like this kind and gentle, nurturing mother of the time. Okay. She really is much more of a tough love kind of mom, where um, she can be gentle with you if it's necessary, the same way the ocean can be gentle with you when it's necessary, but she can also kick your bloody behind. I wish I had said that without an error. She can also kick your bloody behind if you're not doing the right thing. Okay. And that's always been the kind of mom that I have been, as a kind of mom energy that I have always carried. And so I truly appreciated finding Yamaya. All right. But this is not the only deck in which I found Yamaya. I have, when I started to get to think more internationally about goddesses, finding goddesses from everywhere, I also picked up Now, I do not have the original packaging from the Universal Goddess deck, but I do have the original packaging from Doreen Virtue's Goddess Guidance Oracle. And I've used this, I've had these cards a long time. And here we have Yamaya again, but she's spelled with an N, Yamanya. And Yamaya has several different names. You can call her Yamoya, Yamoja, Jamoja, all things around that nature, right? And so for this oracle, her message is important doors are opening for you right now. Walk through them. And this is golden opportunity, right? And you can see she is depicted here a little bit like a mermaid. And you know, it's really funny that there are many dreams that I have at night. And you may also have, if you connect with Yamaya, you may also dream of yourself in important times as a mermaid, right? Um, as someone who is from under the water. Okay. And I have this recurring dream, and maybe you do too, if you connect with Yamaya, of going underwater down to an underwater city and being able to go into, and all of the buildings or the town, whatever you want to call it, is protected by big bubbles. And once you go inside the bubble, um, you are in this beautiful city of lights. If this has happened to you, we're all connected with Yamaya. So it's really funny because for some unknown reason, last night I felt compelled to watch Black Panther because I was watching the Oscars and they were so horrible that I needed a distraction. So I just happened to notice that Black Panther was on another channel. I decided to watch it and I said, let me watch Black Panther 2 again. And this is why I stay up too late at night, right? So I was watching it and I was looking at this beautiful um, underground city depicted by the Aztecs, right? So, and I'm thinking to myself, this so much reminds me of the underwater city that I dream about. Now, I don't think it's an Aztec city. I think it is maybe a universal type city. I don't know, but it really um, touches me in a way to see this kind of underwater city in existence. And now I also have another deck of cards, and this is the African Goddess Rising deck, right? Which I love. I love this deck. Well, number one, it is so freaking colorful. Look at this. This is the back of the card, okay? And now here is Yamaya, and you see her again here as a beautiful water goddess. Here's the the depiction of it as a mother. Here is the depiction, right, as being ripe and full in pregnancy of being the womb. And I just love this picture. And because it's so joyous, you know, so many times when we see goddesses being depicted, they're very stoic or maybe they're unhappy or whatever. But very rarely do we see so much just joy on the face of that goddess. And I can truly appreciate her. Even though underground, you can see under the water, she does not have a fin like a fish. She's not depicted here like a mermaid, but she's still looking lovely over here. All right. So those are our 3 images of Yamaya. Now, there are so many different images that you can kind of Google or look up on the internet and see which one most resonates with you. Okay. And that is something that you can do for yourself just to further connect with Yamaya. Okay. So here's some more information about Yamaya that you might want to connect with. You know, a lot of times you want to know, like things like what colors um, does a goddess resonate with, right? And for her, for Yamaya, it is blue and white. Why? Look at the ocean, blue waters and the white caps on the top, right? And I'm not wearing blue today, except for my turquoise ring, which represents the ocean, the power of the ocean. And I got this in the place in the same beach. Well, actually, my mother bought it and I inherited it. But this is what on the same beach that I'm talking about where we used to jump the waves, the same exact place. So it's for me, it is very, very powerful and reminiscent of Yamaya. Okay, so her colors are blue and white. Okay, if you want to offer her food, she can be called upon with coconut and with watermelon. If you want to place items on your altar to venerate her, um, you can use salt, shells, pearls, white flowers, white candles, which is what I was trying to use today, and also you can put down something that I need to talk about. Generally speaking, for the Yoruba tradition, this is considered to be a close practice, and so um, you may want to, if you really feel called by Yamaya, you may want to seek more information from a babalao, from a priest of that tradition of either Ukumi, Santeria, um, and or Ifa, whichever tradition or whichever branch of this faith that is closest to you or available to you, and maybe get a reading and maybe find out which gods or goddesses from that pantheon are truly your head. But and this is why I don't really, when I talk about goddesses, um, sorry, when I talk about goddesses, I don't necessarily go into so much their individual practices and things because I think that is something that oftentimes is very personal to the person being called by that goddess and not necessarily called to service, but just called to notice and to learn the lessons from that particular goddess. Okay. And I really do this so that people can learn more about the archetypes of the goddesses, more so than any goddess's particular energy. Because let's face it, every pantheon has mother goddesses. Every pantheon has goddesses of love and beauty. Every pantheon has leader gods and goddesses. Every pantheon has messenger gods and goddesses. Every single one. And you have to ask yourself, why is that? Because these are necessary roles in any society. And you may say, hey, the reason why you have Yamaya in Yoruba tradition, maybe because you had Isis first, and Isis traveled on the waters and became worshipped as Yamaya, and as Yamaya traveled on the waters, she became worshipped as Mami Wata, and as Mami Wata went into various places, especially those places where people were oppressed and under Catholic rule, they syncretized their gods and goddesses with Catholic saints. So it's interesting how everywhere that you go, you will find these representations that are necessary for in any society. But it's also important to remember to give honor and veneration to whatever gods and goddesses you are encountering as you go through learning about them. Okay. Even if people who are looking at it objectively and not from a religious or spiritual standpoint might say, well, this is this and that is that. There's a correlation between this and that. Um, we want to always give honor to whatever um, gods, goddesses, deities, spirits, powers, entities, elements that we encounter. Because we encounter each one individually for a reason. Okay? We're called to different ones for a reason. We are asked to give honor to different ones for a reason. And we may get called to the point of actually becoming an acolyte, a student, a devotee, an initiate of that particular god or goddess. And not always. Sometimes it really is just so that we can understand better, understand their wisdom better, and understand how to live our own lives better through their wisdom. So, whew, I want to now give you an affirmation that you can use when you are seeking to connect um, with Yamaya, or to ask her to give you or lend you her strength as you are going through whatever you are going through in your life. And right now, we're all going through a lot. So here's what you may want to say as you connect with Yamaya. I am nurtured, protected, and loved by the divine. I flow with ease and grace. And the message we want to take in our modern lives from Yamaya is to follow the natural tides and rhythms of life. And in a sense, to surrender to them. Why are we fighting everything all the time? Why are we trying to make life more difficult by forcing things a particular way? Why can't we understand the cycles of rest and rejuvenation and birth and death and rebirth? All of these cycles are present in our everyday. When you think about it, think even about the seasons. Right now, we are preparing to enter spring. And spring is all about rejuvenation, coming back to life, coming back into ourselves after the long winter. And believe me, this winter has been long as hell. Okay? So there are natural cycles to our own bodies, cycles of rest, of sustenance, of rejuvenation or reactivation, right? And even when we think about our menstrual cycle, that comes about once a month, that goes along with the cycles of the moon. There are natural cycles that we don't really need to be fighting against. Recognize when you need rest and rest. Recognize when you need activity and get the heck up and be active and allow yourself to go with these natural flows. And finally, I encourage you to take a bath, and not because I think you're stinky, but because taking a bath, being in water, water is a conduit of emotion, of spirit, of enlightenment, of ideas, right? It's about flow, right? So you may want to add some salt to your bath, either kosher salt, Dead Sea salt, something like that. Not necessarily table salt. You may want to get something a little bit more uh, that carries a little bit more energy to it, right? Put some salt in it. Okay. How about some white flowers or white roses in particular? Okay. How about a scent that really makes you think of just the ocean? Okay. And just sit in your bath, maybe put in some crystals, right? Um, you might want to check before you put crystals in your tub because some crystals are dissolved by salt. Okay. But like if you're putting salt in your bath, you may want to check that. But just indulge yourself. Have a nice luxurious bath. Even add some like bubbles or some sea foam type bubbles on your bath. And then as you sit within the water, you can say your affirmation again. I am nurtured, protected, and loved by the divine. I flow with ease and grace. And as you say it, and it's also connecting with the blue center in your body, right? The communication center. As you say this, really try to feel it in your body, to feel that relaxation. I'm not having to jump up and to hustle and to be in that kind of masculine vibration of always having activity, but allowing things to come to you, allow abundance to come to you, allow light to come to you, allow emotions to flow through you, allow spirit to flow. And then when you rise from your bath, make sure to drain your tub without touching any of the things you put in it. Put on some, maybe put on a glove or whatever, because you don't want to throw out the crystals with the bath water. So maybe you take the crystals out and just put them in some clear water so that the water can cleanse them. And then take some time to massage yourself with some beautiful oil and pay particular attention to the womb area when you're done. And to maybe start out with a lovely circular motion and just get all the energy in your body really stirred up. Because if the energy in our body is stagnant, then nothing in our life is moving. And that's why movement is so important in our lives. Because if our energy's not flowing, we're not going anywhere. We're not going anything. We're not moving forward in our lives. So I'm going to leave you with that thought of finding some ways to get into that flow of beautiful divine feminine energy and to feel good about being in your own body and relaxed. There's nothing to do, there's nowhere to be, there's nothing going on. And just allow yourself to be. And I thank you so much for joining me tonight. And I am going to put in to the notes on this a meditation that I have for you, which is all about connecting with the goddess that wants to work with you. Because Yamaya likes to work with me, but she may not be for you. Okay? There may be another goddess, and maybe even a goddess you never even heard of. You don't know who she is, you don't know what she's about, but you can explore that relationship. And that goddess is here to work with you and to bring forward for you all those things that you really desire and deserve in your life right now. That's really why we call on goddess energy, so that they can help guide, protect, and love us and heal us so that we can have the life we dream of, desire, and deserve. So I'm going to put that in the notes, and I will see you next Monday here at the Radiant Womb with me, Dee Savoie. And I am your goddess guide and the head goddess in charge of my own life. And I want to help you be the head goddess in charge of your life as well. So I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful week. Bye bye.